Okay, so we'll be talking about the recent releases that we have done for conversations and then move to what we have in pipeline for the quarter. So the first one is, as you would have already seen, for snippets, we now have an option to organize all your snippets into folders and also search for different snippets. So we have seen a lot of customers having tons of snippets, like 50, 100 snippets directly. And now you can select multiple snippets and move them into different folders. And whatever folder view is created here will also be visible on the conversation. So as you see on this particular screenshot, when you try to insert a snippet, if there are folders, you will see the folder structure. You can either search directly for a snippet or a folder to access the snippet, or navigate through the folder structure and locate the snippet. And if there are any small changes, for example, let's say you have a snippet, you want to create one more snippet which is almost similar, but want to make quick edits or some minor changes, you can also duplicate the same snippet and make your edits and save it. And organizing them into folders is not mandatory. Currently, if your snippets are not organized, the same behavior that we had earlier, you will directly see all the snippets listed upfront. And the second feature that we have released is ability to add internal comments. So when you are having any conversations with contacts, if let's say you want to talk to one of your account users, or you need to get specific information from other sub account user, you can add an internal comment, type in @ and you will find list of all of the users that are in your account and tag them and send the comment. So this internal comment that is added is only visible to your internal users and not to the contact. And they will also receive a notification that this person has tagged you in a conversation, and they can access the internal comment. One more thing over here is, if you are tagging any user who does not have access to the contact already, for example, let's say he is an account user, not an admin, but he is not the owner of this contact. So he does not have access to this conversation. They will automatically be added as followers for the conversation, and they'll get access to this contact and conversation. And one more addition over here is, if you have to locate all of your conversations where you have been tagged or mentioned, we have also given this ability on quick filters, from which you can filter out all the conversations where you are mentioned or a specific user is mentioned. And this will list all the conversations that fall into that specific filtered view. Also, in a specific conversation, let's say now there is an internal comment and the contact has sent some more messages. Similarly, users also sent multiple messages. If you want to just look at the internal comments within a specific conversation, in the contact filters also, the place that I'm pointing here, you can just click on this filters and view only the internal comments. Like how you view just the SMS messages or a specific channel messages, internal comments filter is also available, so that you can view all of them together. Any questions on this one?
Yes.
Yeah, so there are a few.
Okay.
Dia, go ahead, and we'll take the ones in the chat after that.
Yes. So, quick question. So it can be in the conversations. On the right-hand side, do you see that there are icons for the shortcut for the tabs that are inside the contact details? When will you add the payments there as well?
Okay, on the right panel, you want to look at all the payments, right?
Yeah, just when you click those other icons, you see the data in it.
Got it.
So the payments as well.
Got it. I've noted this down, Dia. We'll plan for this.
Thank you.
So, dear, just to add to this also, so in Q1, we are actually going to be bringing everything which you see on the contact details page on the right, on their right-hand side, right? So you see payments, you see documents, you see everything there. the similar structure will be also brought into the conversations tab. So I think by Q1 this will be available.
Thank you.
Matthew.
Yeah, I was wondering if it's possible. This is on the Adair's board already, but last message channel on the filter there, if we can select more than one, because right now it's only one. I have a client that would love to filter by more than one.
Got it. Noted. So you want to see the conversations where the last message has been more than one, like email and SMS, all of them together.
Yeah, specifically Instagram or Facebook, just because they have a lot of Instagram DMs, and I guess you can do it in the Meta Business Manager. So yeah, I don't really fully understand the use case, but if we could at least just get maybe like select all that apply.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense,
Yeah,
Matthew.
I think Matthew, can you also, like, once you have more clarity on this, would love to understand why this is required? Like, because last message channel primarily is used to kind of understand, show me all the conversations where email was the last message sent, and based on that, if you want to respond and kind of look into that. So if you have multiple,
So it is just
fil-
or filter, right?
yeah.
So show me all the messages where the last channel was Facebook or Instagram, something like that.
Yeah, just
Okay.
because right now you can only select one. So if we could select, multiple, that would be great.
Hey, and one more question, like,
Okay.
why do your clients care about this? Like, okay, if I was to assume that all conversations are created equal, like, why would they care about certain channels and try to filter that out and respond to those before they respond to the other conversations out there? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't fully understand it myself, but it just seemed like an easy fix to just maybe, and I don't know, but it just seems like something that would be easy to just implement. I know that they have a huge they get a lot of incoming or inbound text messages. So I don't know, maybe they just wanted to filter, maybe at one point of the day they only want to respond to Instagram DMs and Facebook, and then the next focus on SMS. I'm sorry, I don't really fully understand the use case, but it was a request from our client.
No,
I
that's
will say.
Can I chime in here? Because
Oh, no, Shane's, yeah, my colleague. So no, Shane, jump in.
hi. So yes, they run. All they do is Instagram comment this or comment that for their lead magnets, and that's it. For their paid traffic is all on Instagram and Facebook. So of course, Instagram and Facebook they have this 24-hour window. They want to make sure that they get to them ASAP. Not so they're kind of missing out on a lot of leads like that because it's chaos and that's his words. He's like, I don't know what's going on. There's so many of these. I want to be able to just have one person dedicated from 9 a.m. to noon to just answer to those
this
DMs.
is really helpful. Yeah, thanks for that, Nosheen. So again, like, so the question that I was asking, right? Like, why are some conversations different than others? Like, why would you want to respond to some of them first before everything else? That explains it. It's the 24-hour window where, hey, I have invested in my ads to get people to see this and comment something on my post, and I very quickly want to get back to them so that I start that window and don't let that 24-hour window expire.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
And they have these specials that's only for 24 hours, right? We're running special for today. And then if they lose that, yes, they do have other people who can get back to the people who have reached out via SMS or calls, whatever, right? But this, they have like one or two people specifically dedicated to the DMs on Instagram and Facebook. And of course, since it's paid traffic, they don't want to lose out on anything.
Makes sense.
Cool. Thanks.
Charles, do you have something to add there?
Well, I mean, I like the idea of being able to select more than one channel. I would say my reason is different just because sometimes I want to filter. I know the communication came from one of two channels, and I want to cut out the rest of the noise from the conversation panel and try to find that message quicker. So that would be I see that happen a lot. But mine was actually about the internal notifications for the browser notifications for internal comments and in general. One issue right now, I've been seeing a lot of people comment that they aren't getting notifications in the web browser. What I think is happening is that they have their notifications turned off by default when they are creating their sub account, and then they're hitting the window to not enable notifications. However, when you go into my profile and notifications and you enable notifications for the app, it does not check the browser to see if notifications are actually turned on. So they think they're turning it on in app when in fact the browser permission is still turned off. If there is a way to check that browser when they hit save, if they update a notification that is for in app, when they click save, we need to check the browser to make sure that that notification permission is actually turned on, or at least put it right in front of their face saying, hey, you said you wanted notifications, but you have this disabled at the browser level. And activate that window where they can turn on that notification in the browser.
Okay.
That's a,
Okay.
that's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah. So
Yep.
basically, whenever someone enables in-app notifications, we should check if they have the right scopes on the browser. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Because I just did it. I turned off my browser notifications. I turned off all my in-app and then did a hard refresh, came back in, turned my in-app back on, hit save, and there was nothing. So I'm not going to receive the notifications even though they're on. So I've just been seeing more and more comments around that in the Facebook group. So
Makes sense.
Got it.
Yep. Noted.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes, so I wanted to ask in the conversations, that when a workflow has been sent out, an email coming from a workflow has been sent out, and then the contact replies to it, right?
Mhm.
We cannot change the from email, which I think we should, because if the default or the from email that's coming from the workflow says that it's, let's say, notifications, whatever, but we wanted them to reply to a different email address, or when, let's say, I am replying to that email, if the person is assigned to a different user, then I won't get notified. Maybe we could have like a filter or something wherein the person who replied to a certain conversation can filter out, so that I know if they reply to me or whatnot. Because most of the time they are assigned to salespeople, and our sales team kind of neglects them. So
Got it. We are looking into this, Tia, already. This is something which we are evaluating. I think if the owner is different and if you're trying to send an email on the same thread from your email ID, there are some errors that we have seen. We are working on this.
okay, same thing as well. If I use let's say, one of our departments, let's say the bot department, use the platform to send an email to the contact. So it's a whole new thread, whole new email. They emailed it, but then the internal notification will still go to the assigned user, which are the sales team. So the bot department is missing out on the replies of the contact. Same thing as well.
Got it. So do they want to receive notifications for all the messages or only if they have initiated the email and there is a response?
I believe that the person who sent out, but the person who sent out the email, who initiated the email, probably that would be most important than they replied to the thread.
Got
That's
it.
secondary. Yeah.
Got it. I've noted this down here.
Thank you.
Hey guys, since we are at the topic already, I just wanted to suggest something. I'm not sure if anyone else, I'm sure it has been suggested, but it would be really, really, really super helpful if we had, instead of unread, recents, and starred and all, if we could have just one for any emails and SMS that goes out, like internal notifications, right? So we can just check to see if an email was, sorry, it's only for notification. You know how we notify people via SMS or emails. So if there's one tab for notifications and all the rest of the communication is separate, it's very difficult to kind of search through all the emails and kind of distinguish between, was this for client or was this an internal notification?
Makes sense. I
Okay.
think we should look into that. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome. So there are a few questions in the chat that we haven't answered yet. One of those is from Andrew. Are folders included in snapshots now? Last time I updated it, it didn't bring in folders.
Folders should be there. Andrew, I will get this checked for your location if that's not working. When you create a
Are they
snapshot,
part of snapshots?
sorry.
Like, are they part of snapshots?
Yeah, that should be there.
Yep.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, it's a snapshot team question, and that's why we are a little bit. Yeah, we'll get this checked. Okay.
Yep.
Matthew says they are. Okay, cool.
Cool.
Then, are there any other questions we are missing? Is it
We can
possible
come.
to separate the? Yeah. Is it possible to separate the contact owner from the conversation owner? That way, we can set executives attend the message, plus we can get conversation ID or something like a ticket number.
Got
I
it.
mean,
Yeah, so it's on a roadmap. Yes, Sujata, you want to take it? Yep.
Yeah, I was mentioning that is something we have on our roadmap and we are looking for. Similarly for the followers as well, to distinguish the contact versus conversation owners and followers.
are there any other CRMs that do this?
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
Shivam.
Okay, cool. And then Matthew says turn off SMS mention notification. Turn off SMS mention notifications currently set as default, as the link takes you to the website, which is unusable on mobile. That's a great point. Siddharth, just make a note of this. No, actually, let's have
Yeah.
Krishna make a note of this. Talk to the mobile team. We need to deep link the conversation URLs with the HighLevel or Lead Connector mobile app, so that when I tap on those SMS notifications, it launches the mobile app instead of. Yeah, that's a great one.
Right. Yeah, and in this scenario, internal notifications are currently not done for mobile yet. That is something they're working on in this quarter. So maybe that could be the reason it's not redirecting there.
Got it. And Ikshan had a very interesting comment. So when I said, do other CRMs do this? His response was, let's do more than other CRMs. Let's reinvent the space. 100% I agree with you, Ikshan. The problem is when we get new people signing up for the platform and they find things that are not industry standard, it makes it very difficult for them to activate on it and actually start using the product. That's why we are just a little cautious sometimes of, let's not reinvent too much. I mean, like HighLevel is like one of the only platforms that has like 2-tier SaaS, the agency location relationship, the way it works with us, the rebilling constructs, the SaaS constructs. It's a lot to digest for a lot of folks who walk in. So we are just trying to keep the noise down. But yeah, we agree with you 100%. We will reinvent the space.
Yeah. Dea?
Yes. So keyword search is not working in conversations.
Is it the last message keyword or in general?
In
any
general,
keyword?
any keyword.
Okay, yeah. Right now, what we have is you can search for a keyword that's in your last message. We have this in plan to implement it across all the messages.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, we'll move to the next one.
Yep.
Yeah. And the next big one that we have released is group chats for SMS. This was one of the most requested features. So now with your lead connector phone numbers and US numbers, you can initiate group chats from conversations directly. So as you see here, when you try to compose a new conversation, if you click on compose, you will now see two options. Do you want to have a direct contact conversation or a group conversation? And if you select group conversation, then you will be prompted to select the phone number from which you want to send messages and add participants to the group. So you can add up to 9 other contacts in the group and send messages. And this will work exactly like how the group SMS will work on your mobile devices. Any message that you send will be sent to all the contacts added in the group. And if any contact responds in the group also, that's sent to everybody in the group. And this was mainly requested in multiple real estate industries wherein they had to communicate with like multiple people in the family, husband and wife, and have bi-directional conversation in the group. Yeah, I think there's a question.
Yeah, can I just ask a question? We're in the home services industry, so how will it differentiate? You send a group chat out to, say, a group of installers. We're in artificial turf. So the office sends a group to like 4 or 5 people. What if one of them had an initial a different conversation going with the office inside the app separately? How is it going to differentiate that?
Got it. So you will see different conversation cards here. As you see here in the same, sorry, my bad. One second. Yeah, the first one is a group chat between Harvey, James, and the user. And there is already an individual conversation going on with Harvey. So they'll completely be different conversations. Like if Harvey looks at his mobile also, these will be like 2 conversations, the same views here.
And I guess on their phone, it'll be the same when we get group chats versus individual chats as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
And also to add to this, I think one thing we are doing, Andrew, here is that this is an enhancements which will come in this quarter. When you go to Harvey's profile, which will basically tell you that there is a group chat also available with Harvey. So you can click on that and land on the group chat where Harvey is also is present as a participant, and you'll be able to track it. So that's something which we'll be also working on and should be available by this quarter. Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
And the next one that we have released is the ability to select your phone numbers while sending SMS messages. Previously, from conversations, when you send an SMS, it always went through a single number, which is either the number that's assigned to you or the default phone number. Now, the pre-selected number will remain the same, as in if you have been assigned any dedicated number, you will, by default, in From, you will see your number. And you can click on the number and a drop down opens up. You can select any of the number that is configured in your account and send messages. And if you are an admin, you will see all the numbers. But if you are an account user, you will see only the numbers that are assigned to you or the numbers that are unassigned, the last used number, and the contact owner's number. And same as how you select the business number, you can also select the contact's number. If the contact has multiple numbers added, you can also select to which number you want to send the SMS.
Cool. Dea, you have a question on that?
Yes. I'm not sure with other agencies, but for us, is it possible that when a person who is messaging would use the default number that was selected? So for example, I have a scheduled appointment with the contact, and then the contact is already assigned to a user, but then I'm going to message the contact. I want the number to be defaulted to the default number, not use the the contact owner's default or assigned number, something like that.
Got it. And do the users have numbers assigned to them, Dia?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what are these numbers used for, the ones that are assigned to them?
So they are the salesperson. Salespersons has their assigned phone numbers, but then I, as an agency admin, I can be booked for calls. So if I message the contact, since I don't have an assigned number, I'd like the number showing there to be the default for the sub account.
Got it. Okay. I will look and I will check this with the team, but previously also when the number was not shown upfront and without the drop down, the messages used to go from their assigned number itself. And if they don't have a number assigned, from the owner's number. So that behavior we have kept it intact. Now
Okay.
it's just that they can switch to default. Like if the user wants to change it to default, he can just click on the drop down and switch to the default number before sending the message.
Yep. I can do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Andrew,
Sorry, can I
Yeah.
just have one more
Yeah.
question?
what's up?
Just
ahead,
one
Dan.
more question. When will you be bringing in the selection of the emails?
We have this in plan for next quarter, dear, for Q1.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Andrew, you're up.
Yeah, is there a way? I know it's showing up the phone numbers, but most of our sub accounts have between 10 and 20 phone numbers, and if they've got salespeople, they have each individual. But we use the like friendly name. Obviously, we rename them all. Is there a way to display that, because none of them remember their
Yeah.
actual phone numbers?
Yeah. But
So like John, salesperson, and having the actual name there instead.
yeah. So
Or in
right below the
conjunction.
number, you can actually view the friendly name. So for
Oh,
the
it does.
second,
Okay.
yeah, and you can also
Okay.
search with the name.
Okay. If it's there, then I'm sorry, hadn't checked, but thank you.
No problem.
Awesome.
Cool. Brian.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the system, but I think this is the right place for it. We have a situation where I'll send out messages to like a group of customers, and then so will my support person. But then when the person replies to the support person's text message, I still see the notification. Am I doing something wrong? Am I setting it up wrong?
Yeah, I mean, you can just change your notification preferences from all messages to assigned messages only.
Yeah.
And and that way, only the contacts that are assigned to you, you'll get the notification for those contacts only.
So when they reply back to his number or my number, the conversation is assigned to me in that moment.
No, so basically you could have, so let's say you have a bunch of users in the platform and a bunch of customers that you guys are talking to, and nobody is assigned to nobody. In that case, if all the users have selected notify me for all conversations, they would be getting all the conversation notifications.
So the challenge we run into is that we're not really like, okay, sales handles them, and then ops handles them, and then customer service handles them. They could sign up, they could text me, they could text him. So who's assigned to them? If I'm the one assigned to them as their main person, but they have a question about tech stuff and he jumps in, that's my question. Is it that because they replied to his text number specifically, can we make it so he would only get notified in those instances, or is that already a way to do that?
I
So even
think
though
this
I'm
will-
assigned to the
It
contact,
sounds like like what you're looking for is followers, like notification if you're following something.
No, I think
Yeah.
okay, so the number that is used for a conversation to receive it or send it is immaterial.
yes, that's the
It
problem.
depends upon, so it depends upon who has been assigned to a particular contact or who's following a particular contact. And this is by design so that businesses don't miss leads. Like if leads are in open space, if somebody doesn't get back to them, somebody else will. But what you are asking for is if they text my number, notify me. If they text some other number, notify that person.
Yeah, because what's happening is, like I said, I send out announcements hey, we just made this change, click this link to watch this video, join me for my training. I'm doing that part. Then they might text back in to, again, my text person number and go, hey, I'm not able to see this. Can you help me understand it? And so that's not something I want to
Got
get
it.
involved in,
So we
and
are
vice
kind
versa. You know, we
yeah,
can't be
I
assigning,
see what you mean.
reassigning, because we don't know we don't know when their reply comes in, what it's going to be. Is it going to be a tech question or a sales question? So we can't keep assigning them and then cross our fingers to hope that, you know, the right person is
No,
on
that
there.
makes
So,
total sense. And yeah, I mean, this is one of the problems that we realized a while ago. And okay, so it would require, like, if we had to build a system like that, it would require all of our customers, like all of our locations, to purchase a phone number for each user, right? That's not how a lot of businesses operate. Some sales teams, they might have a dedicated line for each one of their sales reps or whatever, but a lot of businesses don't operate that way. However, we are solving this problem in a different way. So, Shushmita, are you going to talk about the personal inbox versus the group inbox versus that entire thing? Is that part of the
Yeah,
presentation?
we have it, Shivam.
Okay, cool. So let's get to that part. And if it solves your problem, let us know. If it doesn't solve your problem, we can discuss it on that slide. So, I mean, we are planning something in that direction. Just check that out and let us know if it helps.
okay. And then one last thing, the internal comments, though, from what I can tell, those do not work on mobile yet, correct? Like you can't start one on your mobile device.
Yeah, it'll be available in this quarter, Bran.
Okay, because that would be a quick workaround. If they reply to me and it's a tech, I can just hit, hey, at IT, reply to them. That would be a quick workaround, not the long result, but
Got
all
it.
right. Thank you guys.
Cool.
Yep.
Charles?
I was just going to throw out there that, I mean, I get the phone number, you know, if they're texting this phone number, I want the notifications. If they're texting this phone number, I don't want the notifications. To me, it's a process and an assignee thing, but I get where there could be instances in companies like that. Currently, you can do it in workflows. So you could set up a workflow with an if statement saying, okay, which number did it come in, that customer reply come in on, and then do an internal notification via the app to only get so you would turn off your notifications and just use the internal notification via a workflow. So that's just a workaround, if nothing else. Just turn off your message notifications altogether and have a workflow that just filters, did it come to this number or that number? And then do internal notification via push. Just an idea.
Yep.
Yeah,
Not saying it's the perfect idea, but
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good thoughts there. Dale?
Yes. So I wanted to ask if the messaging section at the very bottom, in the middle portion, is it possible that that part, is it possible that it could be user specific? I mean that when I go into conversations, it annoys me that it's always expanded. Feel like for me, my personal preference is that I would like it to always be minimized.
Got it. So is the reason
We are going to fix that for you. So, Dea, the reason you hate that always being expanded is because the real estate management on the screen is not great. And it is a little bit bouncy, like especially when you're looking at email threads, and if the email is if the email is a large one, the screen becomes a little bit bouncy.
Mm-hmm.
But we are fixing those issues. I mean, once just look at the new screens that we have uh, for the personal inbox and the new editor.
Okay.
I think it will solve your problem. Otherwise, I mean, if it still doesn't solve your problem, then yeah, obviously we can make it sticky. So if a user collapses it, then it remains collapsed for that user unless they open it. And then if they open it, then it remains open unless they collapse it. So we can make this sticky definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, do we have any other questions?
Yes, this is Sunday. I have a question.
Yeah.
So this may just be because I don't know how to do it, but it seems to me for the conversations, I'm not able to use it as much as I would like to, because every time I send out an email, all the instant replies, I turn that setting off. I don't even see it anymore. They come in. So then the people who are actually replying to me get lost in that. And I don't know who, does that make sense? Like, am I doing something wrong there?
We
Sunday, your voice broke a bit in the
yeah,
last
we
few.
we lost the key piece there.
Yeah.
The conversation, can you guys hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Yep.
The conversations, I cannot use it because every time I send an email out, all of the auto replies come back to my conversation. So when someone actually sends a reply, it gets lost in there. I send out emails every single day and I get about at least 100, out of office replies. And so is there a setting that I need to do? Do I still
No,
have
I
you?
mean, there is no way for us to tell whether something is an auto reply or like a legit reply, because ultimately it's a reply. The reply came into that email. But what are some good examples? Like, I mean, the same problem could happen on your Gmail, right? So let's say you send 10 emails to 10 different people in your Gmail, and if two of them have some sort of vacation response set up, or maybe one of them has an automation to create a ticket and say, thank you for reaching out to me, I will get back to you in 24 hours or whatever. Those automations will also show up as replies within your Gmail account, right? So it's the same problem.
I would say that is more of an issue. I would just make sure that you're marking the conversation as read. When you do that, make sure that you mark it as read, so that way when they do reply again, or add yourself a task to go back and email them again, a day later. That's just a process problem. There's no CRM that can solve for that.
I mean, we can try to be fancy and do something with AI and say, hey, when the email reply comes in, try to determine what's the probability of this being an automated reply versus something of real value. And automatically, we can either put that in the unread tab or just leave that in the recents or the all conversations. However, the risk of building something like this is if the model is wrong, and what if you lose out on a lead? So we don't want to put you in that situation. But yeah,
I'm not able to use the conversation. I guess I may be the only one on the call, but I'm not able to use the conversation because of the volume of, I work with travel advisors and so many of my people have that auto vacation tab on. So I end up missing conversations because I don't have the time to sift through what is out of office replies versus not.
no, that is
I
definitely a
would
good problem. Like we will definitely make a note of it. We'll look around to see if other CRMs are solving it, and if they're solving it, I mean that gives us a quicker pathway to build it. If they are not solving it, then we are going to ask around other agencies and see how many agencies would be interested in such a feature. And yeah, that's the process we'll follow on our side. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thanks.
Perfect. Dutch, you got something?
Yeah, just to connect with what Sunday was mentioning. If AI can filter out what is an automated response and what is not an automated response, is there a way that we can maybe have like in the inbox like priority coming of like a different classification of like handwritten or not automated emails? Because I think that will be helpful for the issue that she has, that all the authentic emails come on the top and then all the automated, because you don't want to lose them, right? But Shivam just mentioned, like, you don't want to lose a lead, but that they're still in there, but just below the handwritten ones.
Yeah, so when it comes to sort of data, okay, so this is almost like sentiment determination on the text. So, like for example, we use certain AI technologies to find out if a copy is spam or not. Like sometimes you would try to create an SMS template and if it looks like spam, like, if you try to type, hey, this is your FedEx package, and click on my tiny URL link to claim your, FedEx package or whatever. If you try to do something like that, it does give you a notification. So we are able to do some sentiment analysis on certain text blocks. It's just that generally it's not very reliable with the AI technology that we have today. Like it can hallucinate a few times, and then if we get it wrong, then you might miss certain important conversations. And this is the reason that no CRM touches this. We do have a lead scoring mechanism though. So have you tried out our lead scoring feature? What it does is every time someone replies to you, every time someone interacts with your social media, every time someone, for example, opens your email or clicks on your email, you can increment their score. And with this lead information, you can make sure that you're always replying to people that are hot leads. So you can classify it that way. So it can be done, like a version of what you ask can be done in the CRM. It's just that it's not AI powered. It's based on engagement and the rules that you set up for the engagement.
But the response is considered an open-ended response, a reply. The auto I'm out of town response is considered a reply and would be a I mean, I don't turn on lead scoring just because of that, or reply scoring because of that.
That is actually a great point, because if you have set up some rule where you are giving, let's say, 1 point for a reply, a person who has autoresponder turned on would end up getting all those points, and it might seem like they are a
Yes,
hot lead when they're actually not.
that is correct.
You know what? We won't be able
One
to find
idea,
it.
and this was a little while ago, but one way I solved for this was to filter by keywords, and this, your mileage may vary, but I was able to knock out probably 50 to 60% of these by just creating a workflow that looked at replies that contained exact match phrases, like, and then I just looked at the emails, like, so it said, I'm currently out of the office. I mean, if that exact phrase gets matched, then it would just mark it as read. It
Yep.
doesn't solve for the scoring, but it might be helpful in kind of whittling down the inbox a bit to go through.
Yeah, and I think so just try doing this on your side. Like, look at all the common subject lines and phrases that you get, and basically, you could filter them out using a workflow and mark those conversations as read so that you don't have to deal with them. Again, like, we can try doing this, we can try building this natively, and we can be fancy and use AI to do all of it. I mean, the only place where it will fail is if somebody emails you, hey, I would like to close the deal this week urgently because I'm very interested. Because I'm out of office next week, the AI would just hallucinate at the out of office phrase and filter this out, and you would just miss like a very urgent sale that you could have made. And that's why that's the only reason we don't want to do it. But yeah, like, if enough people face this issue, then we might end up building it. I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow Ryan, and someone just texted me the same sort of sentiment that Ryan said. I'm going to start with that, trying to filter out with the keywords and see if I can just get those marked as read, because I do like the conversation feature. But like I said, I get so many replies. I just end up marking everything as unread. But thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Cool. All right, we could probably move on here to keep it flowing.
Sure. Yeah, and the last one that we have released is the quick replies for Facebook or Instagram interactive messenger. So with this, when you define your workflows to send out automated messages on Facebook or Instagram, previously you could add buttons to these messages which users could click on, something like the need trial that you see here on the right side. Now you can also add quick replies. Quick replies are nothing but these are like the suggestions or predefined message suggestions that you show to your contact so that they are more likely to respond to your message. Instead of, for example, here, if you see how long do you need the trial for, you show upfront 3 options and they click on one of them and that is sent as a message. And this increases the likelihood of getting a response from contacts. You can define up to 13 quick replies for Facebook and Instagram, and these will be shown to the contact if that message is the last message. And all the options that were presented will also be shown on conversations like this, and the selected one will be highlighted in blue, and the message also will be received with the same message. Yes, Tia.
Awesome, Dia.
Hi. So it's just a quick thought. As you can see at the very bottom of the screenshot, the channels are already, getting more and more crowded in a sense. Is there a way that you could, like, when the most recent channel that's being used for conversation will be the one that's on the forefront, or the first one on the left, something like that?
That's
Got
yeah, that's actually a great one. And again, we should base this off of the last message type. Because most likely, if you received something on Facebook, you're probably going to reply on Facebook. If you received something on SMS, you're probably going to respond to SMS.
Mhm.
So that can be the first one. But Dia, like I do have another question. Do you primarily use HighLevel on your like laptop, or do you use this on iPad or something?
Actually, both 3 devices: laptop, iPad, and iPhone.
You're not helping.
Sorry, yes, but I have them. I have them all, especially if I'm at home, which I usually am. So I use my MacBook. But then if I'm traveling, I have my iPad and phone.
Hmm.
If it helps, guys, all of our clients use it on their iPads, and that's why our issues are a little bit different than the desktop issues. Just an FYI.
No, that's a nice detail. This is something I realized when I was talking to a lot of folks during the HighLevel, like the Level Up conference as well. So during the summit, I think we are seeing more and more people sort of move towards iPad, and typically the screen size is like, less than the minimum 13 inches, which is available on laptops, for example. And that is causing our app to feel a lot more intense. So yeah, okay, that's insightful for me. We'll plan something around this.
Awesome, thank you.
And also to add to that, I think Saurav, Sushmita, can one of you just drop your calendars link? So I think one of the items we want to talk about is the user interface and experience changes we are doing on the entire conversation screen. So would love to get your feedback as well and do an interactive session. So Sushmita, Saurav, just drop your calendar, requesting all of you to kind of book a call with them, have a look at it, share your feedback in terms of all the UI changes and the UX changes we are trying to make. And that will be very helpful for the team.
Yep.
Cool.
I would just caution that there's a lot of muscle memory built into the way that conversation panel is laid out now.
Yep.
Yeah, so we are not going to move around any major blocks. So like the send button is going to be where it is, when you choose templates or the quick actions, the profile is going to be on the right, the list is going to be on the left. So these larger paradigms are not going to change. It's just cleaning up the text sizes, the sizes of the message bubbles, the way the icons show up. Basically, use the space more wisely and make it look a lot more neater. I think that's where the focus is. I think one fundamental change that does happen is, again, when Shushmita gets to the personal inbox, the group inbox, and the internal team chat, I think when we get to that screen, you'll know. But even then, we are trying to keep it very similar to the way it works today.
Yeah, I just mean in reordering the communication channel. I think you would be surprised how many. So Windows did this back in 2004. Firefox did this with submenus. So it wasn't a parent element; it was a sub element, and they quickly reverted back because they had those submenus had been in those places for so long that there was so much muscle memory that it increased their rage clicks in their UI significantly to the point where it no longer solved. It created a bigger problem than the one they were trying to solve.
Yeah.
Just a little info.
Hmm.
Good insight.
Yeah. So that is all we have in the recent releases. I have Saurav with me. He'll be walking us through what we have in plan for the upcoming releases. Saurav, do you
Yeah.
want to do you want to
Yeah,
share
you
or
can
it's
move
like
to. Yeah, it's fine. You can move on to the next slide. Yeah, so this is one of the major capabilities which has been there on the idea pad, where internally the sub accounts can discuss amongst each other, all the users of the sub account. So this is the capability which we are building over here in internal chat. So this is something we are taking live in this quarter itself.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this is in line with the SMS phone number selector. Suppose a particular sub account has multiple WhatsApp numbers allocated to them, so they can select a specific WhatsApp number to send their WhatsApp outreaches from the platform. So they can select a specific WhatsApp number on the similar lines what we have used. We've also introduced like sort of a memory marker for them, like last used default, which is something which the user can select and define it. So this is something on this line. So this is again a wonderful concept over here. So now you see particularly there's a lot of importance on Instagram Reels and Facebook stories and Facebook Live and all these aspects where particularly companies want to reach out to the consumers, whether you're a real estate platform or whatever platform you want to sell some properties or some products and you want to post a reel around the property and discuss about it. So if consumers are interested in it, they can actually put a comment on that particular Instagram reel or that Facebook story or that Instagram story. So what can happen is you can set up automated responses to it. You can share the details, what is the dimension of the property, what is the price, where is the location. You can even send some appointments around that. So this entire automation will be created in this Q4 itself. Your team is already working on it. Yeah, so this is the point which Shivam mentioned. Even Charles had this great insight on rage clicks on the UI when Microsoft did this change. So this is the point. Even Dia made a point on the particular user experience which we have on the conversations landing page, as we call it. So we are intricately working on it. We'll also, I think Sushmita has dropped her calendar. I'll also drop the calendar while after I complete the presentation. So what we're trying to do is we are looking at this entire conversations landing page and each of the like introducing a little bit of iconography, working on the small text, but also keeping the real estate well managed so that the muscle memory of the users does not get impacted. So certain major big rocks remains the same, but minor changes where it also improves the UX on certain feedbacks which we have received, and also the calls which will have downstream. We have some calls scheduled even tomorrow. This will be key input pointers for us to incorporate that and build this new user experience for the conversations page. So these are the certain touch points you can see: the email composer, the inbox for shared conversation, the my inbox. These are certain points which will be improved over here, over in this
Yeah, and then
module.
Dia, this is what I was pointing out. So you wanted the editor to be always collapsed, right? So if you see
Yeah.
how we are doing this in the UI right now, it takes almost the same space as it would have if it was collapsed, but it does allow you to just type in your response and send a quick reply. So this is what I meant when I said we just want to manage the real estate better.
Yes, that's great. That would be, yes.
Yeah.
Can I add a few more
Yeah.
on here?
Yeah, sure, dear.
All right.
I think I've
So,
missed a few more questions. Go on.
yep. So I do in this conversation screen, this new one. If I know we have already talked about this before, but in a sense that when a logged in as feature is being used, then you can impersonate some other users. Now, just to just to bear in mind that if the logged in as feature is used, and then the person who is logging as the other person, there needs to be accountability on the audit log, because there might be some malicious intent wherein I log in as Charles and send an email as Charles, and then on the audit log it shows that Charles actually did it, but he actually did not. Then there will be some security and major issues on that part.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Let's make a note of that. We
Yeah,
can definitely
sure,
put this
sure.
in the audit logs, and the way this would show up is that this person logged in as this person. I mean, that's one way to run this down in the audit log. But more importantly, we can't expect all of our users to basically go to the audit log and even think of this, like, hey, this person sent an email, but let me first verify if somebody else was logged in as them. Maybe we should do something in the conversation screen where we just show it outright, like all important actions that happen in the app, wherever we show that, hey, this is the person who sent the conversation, or this is the person who edited the funnel, or this is the person who edited the automation. We could just say this is the person logged in as this person is the one who sent the email.
Yeah.
So we'll have to just pay a small UI trick where we don't only store the user ID of the person who took the action, but also the user ID of the person who was logged in as that user. And we just have to surface this on the UI. So it can be done. It changes the underlying data model a little bit, but yeah, it shouldn't be a very heavy lift. And that's a very good observation, Dia.
Yeah, as well
Sure.
as there would be an option to send the ask on behalf of the person. So let's say I'm a VA and I'm replying on behalf of the CEO. It should work like how Gmail send the ask behaves. So when you check on the header where it says sent from CEO, and then at the bottom it says sent by, or send as whatever. So there's a little line at the bottom of the from that indicates that it was being sent by another person on behalf of the sender.
Yeah.
Got it, Dia.
Makes sense. I think we should look into that.
Yeah,
Yep.
got it. Yeah, this send as capability on behalf of another sender. We have just taken a note of this, Dia. We'll add it to the backlog, and we'll get back on this one
Thank you.
after discussing with the clients. Sure.
Charles.
Also on the impersonation restrict. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Charles, go on.
I just know that this is going to come up. So can we make sure that there are addressable elements that are reliable for the left-hand panel of the conversations? Because I already know that there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to want to rename internal chat to something else for their white label, and maybe they want to change mentions to something else. So that just seems to be a small thing, but it would sure help people out that want to use CSS to change how this stuff reads or whatever. Problem is sometimes the elements that are used are so broad you can't do anything with them. They're not named. So if we could just make sure that, because I know it's going to come up as soon as this is released.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Yeah, so this one again, we will have to, we'll ensure this same thing with Sushmita and Siddharth, that there is no such element goes for a toss which is white labeled. There's a 1:1 parity on the platform which is existing in the new UX that is being created.
Okay.
Yeah. So on the version one, I think Charles might not be available, but we'll definitely look into this. That giving the flexibility for customers to kind of rename these labels and use it as their own, what they prefer. So I think that's a good point. We'll look into this.
Yeah, I just think
Yeah.
anytime we're doing a new layout like this, I mean, where it's a whole new UI UX, if we can just say, look, we didn't do this before, but in this new UI UX, if we can just make sure that our parent element, our sub elements are clearly defined so that,
Yeah.
I mean, we know someone's going to want to manipulate it somehow. So
Yeah. And we're starting, so some part of it we are starting, so a little off the topic, but some part of it we are starting with the CRM side of things. So in terms of contacts, opportunities, we will start giving those flexibility to kind of rename them. But eventually we'll also kind of make it more flexible that across the platform, we have this possibility and capability open. Yeah.
Sounds good. Looks good though.
Yeah. Thanks, Charles. Yeah. So this has been a long pending request. If you see the conversations tab, you have to make a hard refresh to identify the number of unread messages in totality and all. So you have to get into the conversations window to get a feel of what are the unread messages and all. But the left panel doesn't give you direct information, which we are informing over here in the form of a blue circle notification where the cursor is present, if you see. Yeah, this was a big capability actually. Shivam also yeah, sorry, Charles, go ahead.
Is there any thought about, so just thinking about this, is there any thought of, you know, how in certain email readers and different UXs you'll have different layouts? So maybe I want a minimal layout. Maybe I want, you know, a more, maybe I want the right panel always expanded. Is there a thought of having different versions of this that can easily be selected
Yeah,
by the end user to suit their own UI experience that they are looking for?
yeah, so this was even discussed internally, the custom layout option, where the flexibility will be given at an agency level or at a sub account level, where the user can select a specific layout of their conversations page. That is not something we're planning to roll out in the phase one of the new improved user experience. But we'll definitely think about this once we have some commoditized version that what can be the bare minimum customizations that are available. We can build it and we can share it with the team for a reference, and then we'll go launch it in the subsequent versions.
Nice.
Cool. Dutch.
I hear agency level or sub account level. Is it not more practical to do it at user level at the moment people log in? Because maybe if Charles and I work for the same company, I mean, maybe I want something different than Charles. Is that possible? Because it's very personal how people look at their inboxes.
Yeah,
So
so
to
that
chip in
is
here, I think, yeah.
yeah.
So let me take this. So to chip in here, that's so basically with this item, what sort of we'll talk about this personal inbox, right? So we are moving towards user level inbox, right? So as we go deeper, you'll understand what we're trying to, what we mean by that. And with that, eventually we'll also get into a position where at each user will be able to customize the way they would like to experience with the conversations module and page. So as Charles was suggesting, right, that on the right panel, let's say I don't want the right panel to be, I want it to be collapsed all the time for me, or let's say the left panel should be collapsed for me, whatever the case is. So they should be able to set the preference and use it as a very personal inbox and not at a sub account level, right? So I think we are moving in that direction. This is the first step towards that. Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Yeah. So this is a very critical piece. Even Shivam highlighted while he was there. So presently, if you see the entire conversations ecosystem, there is a sort of a, if at all the 41 participants are a part of a singular sub account, everyone can see the conversations each of those 41 guys are having, or assume all 41 are BDRs or sales representatives. Each of them can access and all those things. So there is no concept of personal inbox and a team inbox. So there is no segregated handling. With this specific release, what will happen is the users will have a personal inbox which will cater those specific communication threads or conversation channels which are specific to that specific user, and that there will be a dedicated team inbox where the entire team level communication threads with the respective channels will be landing over there. So this is a way, differentiated way, segregated way of handling, which we have planned, envisioned to build it, so that this presently the privacy constraints or whatever are coming up, everything is very smoothly handled over there. Yeah, we would love to have questions on this one since it's a big piece.
And to add on to what Saurav has mentioned, for the two-way sync emails also, today when you make
Yeah.
any two-way sync connection, all the emails that you get from your contacts are visible to every user in the sub account. With this, your users will
Yeah.
get an option to set the visibility of their connections, whether it should be a personal connection where the emails are visible only to that user, or should it be a team connection where anybody can see the emails. And once the email comes in, let's say you have set it up as your personal connection. If the email is about business, selectively you can move some of the emails to the team visibility so that others can also access it. And last time we discussed it, there were certain questions about will the data be lost if the user gets deactivated or if the user leaves. So as a backup for this, when the user is deleted or the connection is deleted, all the conversations that he has in his personal connection will move to the team inbox connection, because this is all
Right.
company's data, and we don't fetch all the conversations. We fetch the conversations only if it is a contact, existing contact.
Cool.
I think there are
Dan,
multiple questions. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe, yeah, this was already discussed before, but with regards to the security, so would there be any prompts wherein if a user is using a personal Gmail account, because technically these are all business data, and then the user should use the business email only. So what if would if the conversation will be using the Gmail one, the personal one, the free Gmail account, would there be like a prompt or a notification that you are risking your business, blah blah blah, because you're allowing the use of personal Gmail, etc. Because if you disconnect the Gmail, it essentially still be on their Gmail account. So there should be in my opinion, there should be an option to just allow contact communication, customer communication using a business email, not a personal Gmail.
Got it. So Dia,
I
for
have,
this, what we are planning is in the subsequent versions, we will provide a screen where admins can look at what is the exact connection that every user has made.
okay.
For example, if you will see a list of users and what email they have connected and whether that is connected as a personal connection or team connection. So admin will also have access to control or modify these settings. So this is something which we are planning for the next phase.
Yeah. So there are two-pronged approaches, Dia, for this. One is if the agencies or the sub-accounts, as we call it, are small enough, or the locations are small enough, then they don't have a domain themselves. They all are using their personal emails for their operations. Then the capability allows it. And as Sushmita just now pointed out, there will be a dedicated admin level page where the admin would be able to identify which is the mail ID each of the user has integrated at a sub-account level. So that will also give the clarity, as well as this will also give a clarity that this gives the flexibility. Rather, if at all your company has a domain, make sure everyone integrates the domain level email ID. If your company doesn't have a domain, then you can also integrate a personal mail ID. Regarding the prompt which you are suggesting, yes, we can definitely do that. Just as a cautionary prompt later on, that if someone is integrating their personal mail ID over here, then why like you are advised to integrate your corporate mail ID, not the personal mail ID. We can look into that also, but presently also we are looking into the flexibility aspect as well as the admin level aspect.
All right.
And this is
Thank you.
something also sort of, Sushmita, we should look into from permissions perspective, right? So let the admin select and choose who should be able to connect their personal email, who should not. I think that will also
Yeah,
solve
sure.
the problem at large. Yeah.
Yeah. We had thought about the delinking capabilities with that, but this is a very fair point. We should also look into giving the flexibility of connecting their personal and corporate level thing. I'm just taking a note of this.
Yeah.
They have already taken a note
Yep.
of
Yep.
this. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Brian?
Yeah, I got a couple.
So the first one is just simply, do we need to choose by contact if it's an email that would always be open for the team? So if I understood this right, the goal was like, I have certain customers that I contact directly and I don't want those emails to go anybody to see them except me, correct? Is that what the goal of this is?
Right, Brian. So if a contact is
Yeah.
sending you an email to your personal email ID and you don't want those to be seen by your team, then you can connect it as a personal connection. And if you send out email to the contact from your Gmail or Outlook, those also will sync to your personal email.
So,
right.
so my thinking is I send out an email blast from my email to, you know, a bunch of people. How does it differentiate those replies if they should come back? If they reply back to my email, they're gonna start as a personal email, and then I have to one by one start choosing, oh, this contact email should be team emails. Am I misunderstanding it?
So,
No, so I think that won't happen because the email blast always happens from the business level email provider. So
Yeah.
we don't allow two-way sync emails to be used for bulk action of emails or email campaign for that matter. So any responses which you get to that, it will always be in the team inbox. This will only work if you have connected your two-way sync, and it is only applicable for one-to-one conversations. So as long as you're sending an email to a contact, first initiated from the CRM, then the sync will happen between both the platforms. Or if the contact is already existing in nature in the CRM and you get an email from that contact in your inbox, Outlook or Gmail, then it will automatically sync in the CRM as in your personal inbox. And then you can choose whether it should be under team inbox or should remain in the personal inbox. So that option is there for the user. But for the particular use case you talked about, bulk actions, it won't be there. That won't happen. Yeah.
Right.
So if I give somebody my email address on a card and I didn't put them in the CRM, I won't get that email in the CRM, correct?
Not at this point in time, unless you have already created a contact for that user in the
Right.
system. So
And
yeah,
then if
but
I
we are
send
working
out
it.
if I send out a direct email from the CRM to a user and they reply back, that's going to be part of this personal inbox. It's not going to show up for everybody.
That's right. If you have your two-way sync connected under my profile, then yes.
And then in that moment, I choose. So I'm going to have to choose each email, and I'm not complaining about this, but I got to choose each email that I would say, oh, this needs to be public. This thread, quote, the team inbox.
Yeah.
And then from that point forward, that specific thread will be public. But if they send me a different email, that email will still be personal.
right.
Yep.
Okay. So it's
Yeah,
if I turn a
also,
contact email to team, it doesn't mean all their future emails are now team emails.
right. If you have set it as
Yeah.
public, it will remain public. If you have set it as personal, it will remain personal. There are certain corner cases around that which the team had discussed. For example, there are certain support CRM corner cases which Sushmita, me, and Siddhartha discussed. For example, there's an issue of escalation, and the discussion was happening between me, who is a support agent, and you. Maybe you are a customer, but you then tend to escalate it to an higher authority of basis some email ID which you identify at some place. Then in that case also it will become team. There are certain corner cases around that which you have identified where it will become a team. It will navigate to the team's inbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but once, so if I, just to clarify, so if I move that email to a team email because they emailed me, hey, the color's not what we wanted, and I go, hey guys, reply to this person, help them out. But then they reply back to me, hey, let's talk about my business pricing. That second email will still come to me because it's a different thread.
Can you come again with the question? I just missed it. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now
Yeah.
that's how it will work. But if you believe that's not the
Yeah.
ideal way, please share your feedback and
No,
we can look into this for sure.
I believe that's what I want it to do, because if somebody
Yeah.
is sending me emails with content, there's contracts, negation, there's pricing, and I don't want everybody in my, because currently with my CRM, the two of us that
Yep.
use it can see anything and everything, and I don't really care. I trust the person. But I could see bringing somebody
Yep.
in later who I don't want them being able to see those emails. So I see the value of it. I just want to understand the mechanics I don't want to be
Yeah.
foolish thinking, oh, every email's blocked, and then they're seeing things they shouldn't see. I've had customers reach out to me and go, hey, it looks like I'm getting fired on Friday. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, I saw my boss emailed you from the same email that we all have access to that said they're looking for a new person and they start Monday. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
well, that's bad on your boss, that had nothing to do with me. And so obviously I want to make sure that I don't foolishly misunderstand the mechanics of this email and
Yeah.
process. Because right now I think they're all coming in, everybody can see them, so I know that. But this feels very dicey. I like it, but it feels
Yeah.
very dicey.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
exactly, I
So
think that's
what?
what we are going to
Yeah.
do. So when you're pushing an email from personal to team, you're basically pushing the thread out there, not the entire conversations or the future conversations. It's only at the thread level. So that particular thread will be available for everyone to access. But the next thread, when it gets created, which is a new email thread altogether, it will again be at the personal level. And unless you choose to kind of make it visible for everyone, it will remain personal.
Okay. Definitely want to be on the Zoom for when this goes live.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we'll
Also,
probably need to do a flow chart, like a
Ooh,
couple
you
examples.
said my favorite. You said my favorite word, Ryan. Flowchart.
Yeah,
I-
cool. Charles?
yeah.
So I think one of the things, so I love this, and I like that you can move everything from personal to team. What I think has to happen, though, on the sending side, so you're going to have inherently people that have a company email, but then their users are setting up a two-way sync for their personal Gmail. Maybe their company doesn't provide them with a Google Works, whatever the scenario is, okay? The problem comes in at the company side because there's no way to limit that. So my proposal is that you create a whitelist that the account admin can whitelist a domain for two-way sync on Gmail and Outlook. What this allows is that they can still connect their personal Gmail, they can connect a company domain, but the only one they can send from the CRM is their company. So even if they get, because let's say you have a salesperson that's working for a company and they have on their business card their personal Gmail, we want them to, even though, that's fine, they can have that on their business card that they're paying for. As a business owner, I want to be able to control what they're sending out from. They can set up if they want to use their personal Gmail and create contacts, that's fine. We need a BCC. This is where the Chrome extension would be really nice to have for the two-way sync. But the ability to whitelist a domain at the company level, I think is going to be super important moving forward. And then if not, it defaults to whatever LC mail is the default for that conversation. Whether it's bulk or one-to-one or whatever it is, it'll roll to the default.
Yeah, I think we are exploring that at some level, Charles. Although we don't have like concrete ideas of how we want to execute that, but there are some discussions around it. I think, sort of, Sushmita, if you can just connect with Charles, also just get some more feedback around it in terms of how he's thinking about it. And
Yeah.
I think by then we'll also have some idea how we want to we are thinking about it and then see if there's an alignment there. But yeah, I think Charles, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I think we are exploring that option as well. Yeah.
The other thing, I like how the two-way sync is going into the personal, but the bigger problem is that right now, two-way sync is global to the user. When are we going to fix the ability if I sync two-way sync in account A and I'm added to account B, guess what? Account B is now getting all those freaking emails. I only want them coming into account A where I set up the initial two-way sync. But since I set it up for whatever reason, that scope is to the user. It does not extend to the sub account as far as what should or
But
shouldn't come in.
Charles, that's only happens if the contact also exists in the account
Nope.
B, right? So
Nope. Nope. Because I have accidentally had integrators that work with me. They have their own personal account. They have two-way sync set up, and they end up signing up someone through their affiliate link, and they're helping them with their account. And I add them as a user to that other sub account. Every email that is getting pulled in because it's a contact in their account is now being pulled into that other account. It is that there's no scope down to the sub account.
should not be the case. Charles, can you help me with the maybe the
Oh, it does.
location ID or
Yeah,
can you just yeah.
it's happened forever. I mean, I've just had to make them agency admins so that they didn't have to be, because even on the permissions, we were all hoping when the granular permissions came out that it would solve the problem of having to make everybody an agency admin just to be able to see without being a user a certain account. But that's still not the case. They have to be an agency admin to see all the accounts without being a user in the account. But yeah, if you are a user in more than one account, if you set up two-way sync in one of those accounts, all your emails will come into every single account you're a user in.
Yeah, I think we need to check that, Charles, because that's not how it is built. So it should not happen unless the contact also exists in the second sub account, and hence the sync will happen. But
Well, and they
if we can just share
may,
that.
but even if they do exist, that two-way sync should not just be at the user level, it should be at the sub account level. Because
Yeah,
let's
that's
say
true.
one of my clients, we have mutual connections on LinkedIn. I mean, we're only 2-3 people removed from most people. So
yeah,
I mean, it stands to reason that we would have some contacts overlapping from sub account to sub account.
Yeah.
That
No,
needs
that
to be
makes sense. I
rolled
think
down
that's
to the sub account.
100%. I think that's something we're already exploring. I think we already have on the roadmap to decouple two-way sync based on a sub-account level and let the user choose, what to connect where in which sub-account. So I think that's definitely we have on roadmap. But on the particular use case you talked about, I think would love to have some more. Like if you just share the details on by email, we'll just run it out because it should not happen. We just want to make sure that what we are missing from our side.
Cool.
Got it.
We'll connect on that one. Leora, you got some?
Yeah, it's I was about to mention something very similar to Charles, but from a different angle. The same issue, but not only with two-way sync, but if I'm a user in two accounts, and I don't turn two-way sync because of that issue right now. But there are two different accounts or two different businesses. Me as a user, I have one email, and it's the same email for both accounts. I need to manually change it every time I send an email. And being able to just on the whole level, connecting the email and the two-way sync to the user to the sub account level, and not only on the user level, from that angle as well, will be very helpful.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. We have any more slides on this?
Yeah. This is a pretty straightforward one, pretty experience centric. Like once you have a conversation with one of your potential leads, you can see a specific typing indicator coming up. This comes up with more from a heuristic knowledge that you need to reply to leads within 5 minutes of the initial conversation kicks in. So this gives you more of a hint. If you have a bunch of leads over there on a conversation tab, this helps you to realize if someone is replying, if someone is coming and typing something, I should reply back. This gives you more of a lead to reply to that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we've already have a lot of pointers, but still we're open. Charles will definitely get back to you on the two-way sync issue as well as your point of views on how can we do it better. But for the rest of the folks, you can always add your pointers on the idea pad, ideas.go-highlevel.com, where we go through it. We even put that in the road mapping process, in our quarterly road mapping process. We add those list of ideas on for the prioritization. Thank you, folks.
And just to add to that, also just to closing note, Ryan, in Q4, I think one of the biggest theme for us as a conversation team also to kind of improve the performance of the entire conversation module. So team is actively working towards it. That how do we make the experience better? How do we make sure the performance is better in terms of the loading time, in terms of the conversation page, everything put together. So I think you will see significant improvements by the end of the quarter. And again, all the features we talked about, which is scheduled for this quarter and the next quarter. So just want to kind of pitch in that as well. That's a active exercise and the project we're working on as well. But yeah, I think that's all from our side.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Andrew, you got one last question to take us out?
Yeah, sorry guys. Just two quick things. Is snippets coming to live chat anytime soon? The ability to add snippets into a live chat like you can in SMS.
Yeah, it's on the roadmap, Andrew. Yep.
Okay. And then I don't know if I have to have a kind of a one-on-one conversation with our use case specifically, but we've got like 8 websites. We bring all the live chat into one sub account, but being able to tag or identify which chat widget is used so that we know exactly which website it comes from. Is that something that can be done?
So Andrew, what you basically mean is you want to kind of understand which chat widget is mapped to which sub account is, if I got that correctly.
Yeah, so all the chat widgets just have code on the website, but they're all based in one sub account, but we don't know which website that each chat came from. So we just want to be able to tag and identify that.
Got it. We'll share the feedback with the chat widget. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, if I need to jump on, I saw there was a different chat widget thing, so I can go on there and find it. Okay, but snippets would be amazing. Or even preemptive text. Have you guys looked at preemptive text? Because we're currently our client's using a dedicated live chat agent, which we're changing over Jivo chat to GHL. And it actually you start typing it kind of has learned what they type. So it uses preemptive text to autofill.
Yeah. Great idea.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much
everyone.
for everybody for joining us and to the team for the great presentation. I know there's a lot of stuff happening and a lot more refinements coming here in the next quarter or two. So until next time, we'll get this week started. Tomorrow's Tuesday, in case you guys are wondering. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Hey, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, folks.